Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to another installment of something that is unquestionably the dumb. A further evolution, a refinement, a tuning of the dumb. This is tuned dumb. How dumb is it? Well, can you see that? That looks fun, doesn't it? You might say, well, how do you do that? How does that qualify for the dumb? Well, it does it like this. How many times do you have to do that before the meat falls off the inside of your finger? Let me tell you, a lot. A real lot. Because followers of the dumb will recall the inside-out axial falcon wild peak. This is an inside-out falcon wild peak. Only the way we did it before is we did it the way a sane person, well, a semi-sane person would do it. It's dumb from the get-go. You take the tire, you turn it inside out, you take a class 1 foam, little class 1 boy, and you put it in there because you've got all those lugs. The lugs that used to be on the outside are now on the inside. So you need a much smaller foam. So then they sit. They were right above Marie here on the tire rack. They were sitting there for a good while, and we kept asking ourselves, was the fact that the center X bars, were they not biting because the tire couldn't deflect easily enough? So we took our friends the cutters, we lost a little bit of meat, and then we said to ourselves, what if we remove those lugs and put those lugs in this bag and then exchange this class 1 foam for one of these, a crazy crawler, very soft, and see what we can end up with. So there are 120 lugs on each tire, and we went through a couple of different permutations. I thought to myself, well, let's just cut off the outside lugs. That didn't work, so I said, well, then let's give it to Keith Flint and cut off the inside lugs on the other set and see how that works. Maybe we can do fronts and rears. And that didn't work, so there's 480 lugs in the bag, 120 per tire. And what you end up with is a real cut down. Just remove all the lugs. A minimum of 2 cuts per lug, 120 cuts per tire. We're well past 1,000 because I had to trim off the shoulders. Part of me is genuinely curious. There's a lot more maneuverability to the tire. You can really deflect it a lot easier because there's basically no lug left. And in the past, we had pretty good overall experience with tires with little to no lug on them. So the lug is still kind of there. They feel way more grabby like this than they did before. But we're here for a mono dumb, a single element of dumb. So this right here, believe it or else, is about the weight of a full tire. So this set of tires now weighs 3/4 what it used to, give or take. However accurate the kitchen scale is gram-wise. We were looking at right about 105 grams per tire. Fairly typical in that 100 gram, 4-ounce range. And after cutting down, they are 83 grams. So we took out 88 grams. So we took out almost a tire's worth. And I was anticipating that once we put these together, and they mount surprisingly easy, perhaps easier than they did when they were right side out. Once the wheel's lined up, you put 5 screws in it and you're done. I thought that the loss of the lug on the inside would really square off the profile, and it squared it off a bit. It's still very 3 tires, and it does push the bulge out. So like, you got to turn it quite a lot just to be able to see the wheel. So I don't think it will have lost some of that uniqueness that it carried with it on its original inside-out configuration. What I do know is that on that foam, with all of that rubber cut off, they are soft. Like, they are really soft. And I think that's probably going to help. This is like an extreme realization of a bar tire. And when I say bar tire, I mean things like Rovers, Ruptures, Cougars, I mean, the Megalithic is a borderline bar tire. Bar tires get their work done by, it deflects over whatever you're driving over, and then look at how much contact surface there is. There's a lot of contact to grab and pull and move. So we were like, can we put these on baseline? I mean, maybe, but I want to see more of the tire, so our good buddy Toothless volunteered himself as tribute. He is on the lighter side, running every day on some deep wheels, so he'll be pulled in a bit on very shallow offset. So we'll only be making him narrower by about 12 millimeters overall, about 6 millimeters per side, give or take. So yeah, might not even be that. Yeah, about 6 millimeters. Okay, yeah. I said 6 millimeters per side. Seems about right. Let's call it 10 to 12 millimeters total. Let's call it 10 to 12 millimeters. So he'll be pulling in 10 to 12 millimeters. And this is one where, I don't anticipate some kind of abject failure. You can really feel how light these are. Because we're on a single stage and we cut all the lugs off. And they definitely have laid down a little more square because for some reason, they look less weird. I don't know if any of this makes sense. I don't know if any of this was worthwhile. This could turn in just to a full-fledged dumb where we were getting some structural rigidity that we needed and maybe didn't know that we needed, and we've taken it away. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think these are going to quite punch to the level of a full-blown bar tire or a pin tire, but I think they're going to do something. And you know what? They look less crazy now. Is it the slow poisoning? Do I just feel like these are normal now? Are these okay now? I don't know. I know that's crazy. That weighs more than all four of the foams put together. Yeah, well, might as well, right? We're already here. We already had him put together. Let's take him back apart. The very back of his chassis, right here. See how it's just squared off? I haven't taken a Dremel and rounded it off or anything. It went right in that hole in my finger. That felt Tony the Tiger great. When I go to wash my hands, it's going to be transcendent. So despite being cut down 122, so still fairly tall. That is just past 475. These are around a 480 at 122. And they're going to be some beefy boys. I'd call it 52, 53. So the width, I mean, let's look at it against what he ordinarily runs. This is a good bit narrower and shorter. But I don't think these are going to drive like a tire that's 4.8 inches tall. That is my speculation and my guesstimation, because that foam is soft. And the center part of the tire, the X-rib in the center, it's kind of got a tic-tac-toe flavor, actually. The X pattern in the center is really... You can't really notice it because of how much pooch we got, but they are sitting completely flat onto the ground. And there is a section about the contact patch on this tire is probably 40 millimeters long. So if you take an ordinary tire and it sits down, when it presses down, you can see how the bottom of the tire is not flat, right? Because it's going to deflect like that. But when it deflects, you're looking at your PSI. You're looking at how much is actually in contact with the ground. And these are going to deflect to about, not 40. I'd say the contact patch is about an inch, 25 to 30 millimeters, and then the width of the tire. So let's call it 25 by 40. When this squishes down, because this dome, the Pucci dome is fake, it takes little to no effort to go. So if we can position this across the bottom of the tire. I mean, you see what I'm saying? We're talking 50 to 60 millimeters. And when it's under load this way, the contact patch is 80 millimeters long. I am genuinely curious. This is one of those. The dumb continues to provide. The dumb part was not noticing. I kept going, until it was too late, and then the skin fell off. But I don't know. I think this has a potential to actually be pretty good. So how do we portmanteau pendulum and dumb? Pendulum. So the pendulum swings back and forth. This is a bad idea. We're getting something pretty good out of it. This was a bad idea. Nobody, no matter what the performance these puts out, it's not going to be, I can't imagine it falling on par with something like a comp pin, an Endura comp pin, or an XHX pin, or even a fake Tusk, even a Fusk, and we're under 30 bucks for all of them. I got these on some inexplicable Amazon sale for $40 a set, $19 a pair. Still not recommended. You have to cut 480 lugs off of the tires, and it took well over an hour to cut all of those lugs off. But these are what we do, because otherwise, what were they going to do? They weren't bad, but they also weren't quite good enough. They were going to sit on the rack until eventually we probably gave them away, and if nobody wanted them, they would have gone on the skewers. So better yet to just chop all the lugs off. I feel like they're relaxing down. Look at that front one. It's almost just got a nice rounded shoulder. These guys went on last. I think this was the first one that got mounted, and he's really starting to relax over. So hopes are moderated, but not zero, because what if it does the thing? I don't know, this body, that's not bad. It's got that kind of retro, he's like a little rat roddy thing going on. I don't know. The rocks will tell us the truths, whether we can handle the truths or not. So come with me, will you, to the land of construction sounds, bumblebees, weeds, lizards, all of the wonders held for us within the canyon. Let's go find out if that blister was worth anything at all. All right, I'm not mad about that breeze. Not even a little. That breeze can go all day, for all I care. As these flatten down, and they are indeed kind of flattening down, even just with a little bit of wheel time, shop to course, driving them out here, the profile is definitely turning into something more resembling a tire. I honestly think the it is Giger, right? Giger, it's not Geiger. The Giger inspired looking, very alien looking bar and rib. It kind of works with this body. I don't know. I know that the X's were grabbing stuff and just absolutely flinging it into the air on the way back. That is very, very dusty up there. Very dusty. If we can find the spot to get the grip. I think these are more rough terrain, because they're going to take greater advantage of when it's all broken up. Let's see right here. They don't act nearly as low as they should. These are low profile now. I mean, look at them on him. Like, look how low his body is, how close it is to the ground. Because it kind of turned him into a belly dragger, because while they sit high, because there's no lugs. My finger, these little guys, they go right into the hole. They go. It feels great. So this is something that no one should ever do. Don't do this. I mean, overall, like, not even using qualifications. Not saying, well, I mean, it is only this. No, these just feel pretty good. Again, we are pretty quickly meeting up with the limitations of R35 compound. I think he would be able to pull, well, that was pretty good. It would be more effortless. It would look like it was taking less effort if this was any other compound. Of the OE compounds, R35 is the hardest of the, what we call the big four. S1 is softer. Vanquish Red is definitely softer. Element, well, I don't even know. Element tires, because between them we've got what? We've got the grabber, the class 1 grabber, and the pin seeker. I never even think about them. They to me are kind of the epitome of the RTR tire. Not great, not horrible, but I would never sit down and make certainly over 1,000 cuts on a set of Element tires, not on a set of grabbers or something like that. I had to have thought, no matter how dumb this is, no matter what level of dumb we get to, there's no way I'm going to sit down and spend well over an hour cutting lugs off of Element tires. It's not, there's no payoff there. Like, my finger hurts, and I keep touching it with my own thumb. Look at this perfect lineup right here. Like, when my thumb goes, I just keep touching it. Like, just instinctively, I guess. I don't mind it, because I had a hope that bordered on a feeling that these would actually be okay. Because they were pretty okay with nothing other than flipping them inside out. So I was pretty confident that, if nothing else, all that cutting wasn't going to make them worse. The hovering question was it going to make them better? And if so, what kind of an improvement could we expect? They have very nearly a level of forward drive that I would say, yeah, that's a tire that I would voluntarily choose. Am I going to swap, like, is there any chance of these replacing, say, Toothless's day-to-day fossils? No. There's more versatility to the fossil. These ain't bad, though. They're not, and again, without qualifiers, it's not that they're not bad for a tire turned inside out. This is more all around well-rounded performance than you'll see out of pretty much any tire Axial makes mounted in its normal configuration. These aren't kind of good, they're actually good. The dumb continues to provide. I just think in the dustier portions, I don't think these are the hands down best. I think they either need chop or the rocks need to be relatively clean. Now let's do a little figure eight here. Pretty choppy over here, should help. Not quite enough on the bar. I can't quite get that front down. I want to get passenger front. We're going to keep augering that axle because it's going to keep shuttling us. We're going to have to come out real wide here. There we go. If we keep it inside, that should stay. There you go. There you go. Effortless once you find the spot. So now we'll try a backwards through this. This is a reverse approach to this gate. Yeah, they like the chop. If your terrain is really broken, that was three-wheel motion all the way around that. Okay, well, that's a cut loose. I think we can save it. I think I knocked all the golf balls off over from gate one. Yeah, they are. You got to drive these because they are a little. Okay, no, that's not accurate at all. These are not a little unpredictable. These are wild boys. They will hook up. And are you not a fan of lug noise? Then you shall have no lug noise, as we don't actually have lugs. This is approximate to driving a slick. Let me see if I can. We'll have. There is definitely some sidewall weirdness. I think that foam is not supporting the sidewall. Did I want to donate a pair of dual stage to this? I did not, and I do not. Because basically what I think is happening is this tire, by virtue of the X pattern down the middle and the just straight bars wrapping the sidewall, this tire has more drive from the sidewall than it does from the center bar. So luckily the tires do have that very donut rounded shape. So they can take advantage of that. When we get into the right spots, any spot where the tire is kind of bound on its side like that, how that front pulled over right there, most tires don't have enough side bite to pull through that little section. These are all side bite. Right here, will this spin? It didn't spin, it just went over the top. Most rigs, you'll start to get scrub. There'll just be a bunch of scrub, and then a lug will catch and pop, turn, pop, turn, pop, turn, pop, turn. These, you have grip from beadlock ring to beadlock ring with the least amount of grip in the middle. I have no idea how you would remove some of those little bits in the middle. I am still amazed, and obviously a testament to the thickness of the carcass. I never once cut through the carcass of the tire when I cut 480 lugs off. I lost more skin from my finger than I did take off rubber accidentally. That's why these tires, that's why the Baja Boss is not alarmingly good. That's why the Nitto Trail Grappler is not alarmingly good. They've made a tire that is so thick. I'll make a cycling analogy here, okay? So I have heard in this, people say a phrase, something along the lines of, life is too short for cheap servos and brushed motors. I can see that. I can see where they're coming from. I had coined a very similar phrase when riding bicycles because I spent a lot of money on tubeless tires because we get a lot of flat tires out here. We have a thing that we've always called bullthorns, but everyone else calls goat heads. They will just annihilate tires. And then along with that, there's construction waste and staples and nails and drywall screws and everything else in the road. And there, you have two ways of combating this. You can run tubeless and risk ruining a tire, and the tires are significantly more expensive. We can relate to significantly more expensive tires, yes. Or you can run a tire called the Gator, either Gator Skins, or the step above that is Gator Hard Shells. Gator Hard Shells are the R35 compound of the cycling world. They are so hard that screws and nails go, yeah, I'm not even gonna try it. I'm not even gonna try it. And they will run forever. You can get, a lightweight rider could probably get 10,000 miles out of a Gator hard shell. Like the sides would start to dry rot away before the tread wore off. But they ride like crap. They're terrible. The feel on the ground is awful. So you know, I say everything in this pursuit with the toy cars is a compromise. I wanted to see if I could hit it clean on one try. And no, there's a real narrow window over here. The compromise there is I'm not going to get flat tires, so I'm not going to spend time on the side of the road fixing a flat. But the whole time I'm riding is terrible. It's going to make your elbows hurt and your hands hurt and your butt hurt because all of the shocks just go straight into your body. So R35, what Axial tried to do, and this is my guess, is they wanted to give you a tire, I guess, that will last forever. I just know that a lot of manufacturers make very little in the way of effort to make a performing tire that they give you with a vehicle because they got to keep that aftermarket vibrant. They got to keep it going. Why manufacturers don't pair up or team up with other manufacturers to supply things like better tires, better electronics? It's been done before. Red Cat has done it a couple times. They used to give you a 1080 and a Holmes motor in one of the Gen 8s or Gen 9s. Proline did a collab with Axial and made a base camp with a whole bunch of Proline doodads on it. Why are there no partnership? Like, why are there no brand editions? Just don't mark it up through the roof, man. Or sell us a kit. Now, I do acknowledge that if not for the current state of the industry and RTRs as a whole, we wouldn't be here right now. Because I wouldn't have caca tires to mess up my hands cutting all the lugs off so that we can come out here and do dumb stuff. The dumb is brought to you in part by the choices of the manufacturers and the movements of the industry because they know what's best for us. So who is it that are dumb? Is it they for forcing such things upon us? Or is it us for allowing them to force such things upon us? I don't know. That's not an easy line. That's not an easy line right through there. Toothless is basically a 10-2. Is he made out of mostly aftermarket parts and he has SSD Diamond Pros? Yeah. Do SSD Diamond Pros change any geometry, mounting points, anything over the AR44s that were on there before? No. Is he running where the elite meet to greet the street, the best tire and insert? We know that he's not. These are Axial Falcon Wild Peaks with all of the lugs cut off, turned inside out, and fitted with a foam that in any other tire would be too soft for any rig weighing more than 5 pounds. But you know what? Not only does it work, but, okay, so there's a learning curve. You kind of gotta, you gotta prepare yourself for the way these tires behave. Very Mars rover looking tires. But they do the thing. They absolutely do the thing. I was going to try for a real high one, and I want to see if we can slide it and not flop it. That little set down, it's flies. It's flies. If you hear me losing my mind behind the camera, it's flies. I'm riddled in cuts from trimming the Palo Verde tree. This guy right here. See this big, look at this yellow fellow. Look at that. That is majestical. It is also made of spines, it's covered in spines. And the spines are so small and so fine, we are poets today. They just stab you and you don't even know. And then you get in the shower and there's just blood. There's just blood. This one right here. Didn't even feel it happen. Like being cut with razors. You can't even feel it. So the flies are going after my wounds. That's the fun part of the morning. Ooh, there's a real narrow slot where this works. This is not a gimme. And see, it doesn't quite have enough. Once we get out on that side, we get that load right there. The rib in the back doesn't have enough to push us over. We get to there and it does. We have to clear that 2 times or it's that run out and back. I got it right there. Oh, there is a millisecond to catch. Okay, right there. Oh, As soon as it goes light, passenger front, you're done. I can't believe I made that one. Ooh, go high, go high. Sometimes the line for one tire is not the same as the line for the other, and that's why the tire test protocol works as well as it does, because we make every tire do the same thing. I don't know if I just incidentally found this tire's line before and now I can't find it again. I'm just dropping in. That is so light. That front is it even touching? We're just touching on driver front. We'll settle down. Oh, that drop. Once that drop happens, you're not getting out of it. You know what this is, though? This is the thing. Marie would be shining her warm gaze down upon us because this is fun. This is fun. This is why Class 1 guys like Class 1. There it is. There it is. It's the sawback maneuver. You got to cut it back. But we cut back too tight. Got to throw in a little bit of a reverse there. Come across. And we still have to keep driver front from sliding off. Is that overloaded? Nope. We don't want to hit high side marker. So we're going to... Ooh, little touch there. Yeah. You know what that is? That's fun. That's the point of this. Dumb and fun often have a real smooth interaction point. There's a point where the torque and the horsepower curve, where the fun and the dumb, where they cross over each other. Too much fun, we've all been there, right? You've been somewhere where you're having too much fun. And when I say that phrase, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And we have definitely all been in the position of too much dumb. And sometimes they can cancel themselves out. You did something that was too much dumb, but it was also too much fun, so we allow it. This is the perfect intersection of fun and dumb. Never at any moment for even a second have I been like, why isn't this better? Why can't that do that? Why can't I make it do this? I don't know. Maybe you should turn your axial fucking Wild Peaks inside out, cut all the lugs off, and then mount them inside out, because you know what? Fun. Could just be my brain filling in blanks, but I feel like the fronts, does it look at least a little bit like the overall profile of the front tire is a little bit different from the back one? Like the front is still, the rears are still standing up more pointed, and the fronts, the X-band, what we will call the X-band around the middle, seems flatter. I put a nice dent in the back of the Power Wagon, and that's a good dent. That dent is from today. I would remember that. Look at this. Little bit of slip right there. Let's see if it over... Ooh! that got real light all of a sudden. Everything was a hunky-dory until I put any steering input in, and then it was like, oh, you want to go the opposite way of that? Okay, I will facilitate. Right there. Ooh! That's not great. That's not great. You know what though? Fun. Do these excel on the side hill? No. Any steering input. Oh no, it's sliding. Little bit. Not too much. Keep that throttle down. Cut it back. Any throttle input at all, it just goes. So when I spend good money on a tire and I want it to do a thing, I want it to do that thing. I don't want it to make me drive it the way it wants to be driven. These absolutely pummel you into doing what they want to do. There is a alarmingly low forgiveness level on these. It could be the overly soft insert, but the overly soft insert is going to maximize our forward drive. Honestly, if someone built a tire like this and made the ribs, so in the center, instead of X's, just make them those rectangles, and then make the ribs twice the height that they are now, but keep everything else the same, these would be disgusting. They would be very difficult to drive. Watch, as soon as weight transfer, we see it sliding, right? not just sliding. I watched all 4 tires slide sideways all at once. Well, because the X isn't really providing it that bite, and the side lug, which is side bar, which is more like side string, all the side strings are parallel to each other. So when you get in between the... I didn't touch any throttle, nothing. That just slid away. Okay, I'm just gonna give no steering input. Oh, there's just too much. There's just too much. Any steer input, any excessive throttle, and away it goes. But if you come this way, look at the 3-wheel. I warned him. Toothless said to me, and I paraphrase, I can be as dumb as everybody else. And I was like, I gotta warn you, man. I gotta warn you. We call it the dumb for a reason. Sometimes you will spend a lot of time on your face. And he was like, I want to go. Put me in, coach. And we put him in, and you know what? He's not regretting it. I'm not regretting it. A great time was had by, I hope, all. Did it make them better? Yes, certainly. Are they frustrating? Not at all. Are they insane to drive? 100%. Like, predictable, but predictable in the sense that you know they're going to do something wild. I have not had, in the moments where it has snapped out, I have had 0 opportunity to catch it. It's just gone. When these decide it's time to go, they didn't even tell you. You turned around and they're gone. That's just the cloud of smoke shaped like the tire is still remaining. Yeah, but again, they definitely spark joy. Because, I think they've got it. I think they've got it. Get that pumpkin over and we will clear it. Was that enough? Was that enough? It's, you know what? If it's going to be dumb, it at least needs to be fun. And I think we did both. That's a twofer. That's a twofer free for your visual consumption. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us here at the Canyon. When we say a couple things, we do indeed truly mean them from the bottom of what would resemble or be at least biologically documented as a heart. From the bottom of that, we thank you so much for being here. We hope that in between now and when we meet again, you do your very best to have a good one, everybody. And we do wish sincerely that you were here with us to enjoy the shenanigans and create some shenanigans of your own, because we want to spread the joy, man. Shouldn't it just all be joyful? Thanks for joining us here in the Canyon, everybody. We'll see you next time with whatever we decide to do that day.